it looked to me as I traveled when I was out with you in California, what it reminded me of more of a war scene where you had certain targets that were bombarded, where artillery was just blew them up. With no rhyme or reason. In other words, you'd have this fire going crazy and burning everything down and 3 houses being fine. Nothing's happening. Or neighborhoods that were still green. Still green. And next to a place that, for example, we're just looking at a Secret Service house that was out there. All the vehicles are melted. Yet the house next door still has green shrubbery on it. And, the house is fine. There's only, I think, 4 or 5 houses in that 200, it's in the Pasadena area. But my generic point is, it's almost like it's a battle scene.
But Mr. President, we saw that in South Carolina, North Carolina, Georgia, and Florida with hurricanes.
Yeah.
This is also the nature of, to your point, this changing climate, these extreme weather conditions.
My first piece of advice to you is let's take care of our mental and physical health first before we embark upon what is going to be a journey to rebuild these communities back and rebuild them better than they were when we started this fire.
Shalom. I would like to give all honor, glory, and praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah Kodash. I would like to give double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. Salutations to all you sincere Akim, pushing this word out across the 4 corners of the world. And you just heard it for yourself. President Biden, in his briefing and going over the details of this engineered LA wildfires. And notice he called that tragedy a war scene and mentioned key words like targets and artillery. And on the next clip, as you saw, the director of LA County Public Works, Mark Pestrella, just openly stated that they started the fire. And that should show these American sheeple how this is all done by design, by the so-called powers that be. And just last year, you had Klaus Schwab, who is the founder of the WEF, which is the World Economic Forum, and he stated how they will unleash an era of shock events to bring about their globalist NWO. So the closer that we get to Yahweh Shai's second return, the elites on the left-hand side are proudly boasting about their crafty devices to forge in their so-called NWO, which is all in fulfillment of biblical prophecies. And it takes me right to the book of Psalm 94:1. O Lord, Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai, to whom vengeance belongeth, O power, to whom vengeance belongeth, show thyself. And Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai are definitely showing themselves by these divine catastrophic events they're bringing about on the world through their left-hand vessel of dishonor, Esau Edom. And once you go to the word visit, it doesn't always mean a heart warm welcoming. It can also go into to inflict or afflict unpleasant situations or events upon someone. And for these left-handed elites to forge their NWO is going to come with a lot of global catastrophes and casualties. Verse 2, lift up thyself, thou judge of the earth, render a reward to the proud. And a reward is a consequence that happens to someone as a result of worthy or unworthy behavior. And who is that main worker of iniquity that's implementing these unworthy behaviors and acts upon the earth? The man of sin himself, Esau Edom. So therefore, the Lord's going to reward the proud very soon. And Esau has developed a God complex throughout his rulership, especially concerning his future plans for humanity, which is why it's stated within Daniel, the 7th chapter, how he should speak great things. Verse 3, Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai, how long should the wicked triumph? And to answer that, according to the book of Job 20, verse 5, it goes into how the triumphant of the wicked is short, which is referencing to the Lord's left-hand vessel of dishonor, the tabernacle of Esau Edom. So the triumphant of the wicked is short, and the joy of the hypocrite but for a moment. Verse 4. How long should they utter and speak hard things? Yeah, all of their powerful speeches of them instituting a global NWO, going into artificial intelligence, transhumanism, tyranny, genocide, global terrorism, these smart cities, which are nothing but smart prisons, a digital currency, and ultimately the MOTB, which is the microchip. Because back in the day, they used to speak in code and art and symbolisms to one another to communicate or reach their points. But nowadays, they are blatantly coming out to the forefront, hence on mainstream news, and telling you what they did. And their mindset pretty much is like, what are you all going to do about it? So again, how long should they utter and speak hard things, and all the workers of iniquity boast themselves? And another example, look how Bill Gates and Dr. Fauci can openly state we should be prepared for another pandemic. And also Bill Gates' talking points about depopulation. And that also goes for the rest of these lesser luminaries, how they should utter and speak hard things. And that's because it's all in wickedness in the eyes of Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai. And these so-called powers that be, they are really turned on by bringing forth this destructive globalism, hence this era of shock events, which is going to cause great casualties throughout the earth. They are very serious about this NWO because from a spiritual perspective, they want that blessing back, which is that divine blessing that's inherited to us, the true biblical Israelites. And all by left-handed means, Esau is going to go out his wits in order to achieve his enterprise. So therefore for us, Jacob, which is like a worm, we are hopeless and helpless without our true power source, Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai. And that's why King David stated right here in the spirit, and this is the book of Psalm 64:2, hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked. And that secret counsel of the wicked is going into these international bankers, this shadow government, or this so-called secret society of Esau Edom. They are not playing when they say these bragging statements, you will own nothing and be happy. And that's because Yahweh Bahashem Yahushua is programming them to be serious to ignite this chaos throughout the whole world. So therefore, hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked. And that's by the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding of Yahweh Bahashem Yahushua via this truth. As it's stated within the book of Psalm 91 verse 1, he that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. So therefore, the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding of Yahweh Bahashem Yahushua is our spiritual safe haven, especially within these upcoming disastrous times. And it says, from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity, who whet their tongue like a sword and bend their bows to shoot their arrows, even bitter words. And by them whetting their tongue like a sword, is by them sharpening their draconian policies, which is going to institute draconian measures throughout the whole world. And it says, and bend their bows to shoot their arrows, even bitter words, that they may shoot in secret at the perfect, referencing to you Israelites. Because again, they know exactly who we are as a people. It's just the vast majority of our people that do not know who they are, according to the Bible, which are the Most High's chosen people. And they want that blessing, which is the kingdom of heaven, which have the perks of immortality or an endless life, like eternal happiness that's promised unto us. And they are jealous of that, and more so highly vexed, even to the point of being so vexed and angry, as it's stated within Revelation 12 and 17, how the dragon was wroth with the woman. And that dragon is referencing to Esau Edom, and that woman is referencing to the Israelites. And that's because we as the Israelites are likened unto a delicate woman into the eyes of the Heavenly Father Yahweh. All right, and it says that they may shoot in secret at the perfect, suddenly do they shoot at him and fear not. Verse 5, they encourage themselves in an evil matter, they commune of laying snares privily. They say, who shall see them? And according to Ecclesiasticus 23:19, it goes into how the eyes of the Lord, referencing to the angels, these so-called orbs or UFOs or UAPs that's constantly being reported throughout the whole earth, which are indeed the chariots or the angels of Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai, are 10,000 times brighter than the sun. And guess what they are doing? Beholding all the ways of men, considering the most secret parts, even Esau's so-called secret societies. And whereas that type of information nowadays is public information. So Esau's so-called shadow government is not so shadow or secret anymore nowadays. Because according to the book of Obadiah, Esau is being searched out. And the Lord is allowing Esau to be discovered within his last seconds in a part of the Most High's movie. Verse 6, they search out iniquities, they accomplish a diligent search. Both the inward thought of every one of them and the heart is deep. Like, look how they go into the science, the case studies, the experiments. Like, look at the extent that Esau goes into by researching, analyzing, collecting data, or doing case studies, experiments. He really has his eyes set upon something, or bringing forth these catastrophic events throughout the whole world. Verse 7, but Yahweh Bahashim Yahushua should shoot at them with an arrow, suddenly should they be wounded. And here's the point of the lesson. Verse 8, so they should make their own tongue to fall upon themselves. Hence these two videos you saw at the beginning of this video of President Biden openly stating within his briefing amongst Kamala Harris and amongst some of their other supporters within their administration. And he was detailing how these orchestrated LA wildfires was like a war scene. And he mentioned words like targets and artillery. That next clip, the director of LA County Public Works, Mark Pestrella, just openly admitted how they started these LA wildfires. So the Lord Yahweh Bahashim Yahushua is allowing them to openly admit that they are indeed the main culprits of this LA wildfire crisis. And that's because they feel like they are proudly reaching the fruits of their labors. Hence this global enterprise, which is indeed their great reset or their NWO. And it takes me right to the book of Job 5 verse 12. He, referencing to Yahweh Bahashim Yahushua, disappointed the devices of the crafty. And those devices of the crafty are referencing to this so-called shadow government, evil plots, schemes, agendas that they want to implement throughout the whole world. Hence, this destructive globalism, aka this great reset or NWO. So therefore, the Lord Yahweh Bahashim Yahushua is going to allow them to get to a certain point, but they're not going to reach their peak, which is by microchipping every single body, which is why it's stated within Revelation, the 13th chapter and 16th verse, how he calls it all. And once you go to the word all in the Greek, it goes into pas, which goes into every inhabitant of the earth. And this is going to be the hour of temptation when you read in the book of Revelation. However, only the elect of the nation of Israel are going to be the only ones to escape these things. And that's mainly because, first and foremost, they are predestined. Aparatazat, that's us. We will be predestined. And we have that testimony of Yahweh Shai. So he disappointed the devices of the crafty. And when you think about that word crafty, it goes into within Genesis, the 3rd chapter, how the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field. And once you go into the word subtle, it goes into like devious, crafty, and artful and deception. And who globally fits that description within today's time? The tabernacle of Esau Edom. So again, it says he, and again, that's referencing to Yahweh Bahashim Yahushua, disappointed the devices of the crafty so that their hands cannot perform their enterprise. And the enterprise goes into like a business organization, and it also goes into like a project undertaken. And what is that project undertaken? That Novus Ordo Seclorum, which is the Latin phrase that's on the American dollar for New World Order. And that takes me right to Edamon Online for the word enterprise. And as you can see, it says an undertaking. And here's the point right here. That's highlighted. Take in hand. And what component or device that fits this description within today's time? The microchip, the MOTB system. And that's exactly why these so-called powers that be are intentionally causing these LA wildfires, which led to like $60 billion in losses to these insurance companies. And that right there alone could be like a ripple effect onto the rest of the states dealing with this poor economy. And already being at a $60 billion deficit within the first quarter of the year, that's a horrible, but more so a crafty scheme. So therefore, expect the prices of goods and services to be more inflated. And that could be a great way for them to financially reset this global currency. And whereas the American dollar or these Federal Reserve notes would be obsolete, and you will have a digital currency, because everything they're pushing forth, again, for this era of shock events, it's all leading into a global digital paradigm. Hence, artificial intelligence, these robotics, transhumanism, smart cities, again, which are nothing but prison camps, and ultimately a digital currency, which is going to lead into the MOTB being implemented. So with that being said, expect more controlled demolition false flags that will be occurring throughout the various cities and states within America. And their main plans is to turn this global superpower, America, aka Babylon the Great, into a globalist controlled third world dystopian. So with that, hopefully you all was edified, you all stay strong, keep pushing forward. Shalom.